Let's get it going, all right? Peace, everybody. Welcome to Movie Innerstandings, and this is Brother Lou, and it's just me. You know how we do, man. You know what I'm talking about? We just gonna go ahead on and get it. You know what I'm talking about? And shoot, you know how it is. We talking about Dune. You know the 2021 or Dune Part One. You know what I'm talking about? Shalom, Chief. Here we are, 20,000 years into the future of the planet. Let them know. Let them know, son. Hey, bro, let them tell them. I don't need to say, you know me, you know how I roll. But PSG, you know what I'm talking about? Let's see what you guys say. You know what I'm talking about? Here we are, 20,000 years, into the future on the planet Arrakis. The cinnamon smell of spice melange is in the air at the 450 meters. Shahelu roams the sands, dunes. Is all about big business. And you know what? Chief, it is about big business. Pieces of shit. You know what I'm talking about? Okay, a little bit of background. As I said before in the last one we did, this book series and the movies is a cautionary tale on leaders and you can say colonialism. And it's very deeper. I had one sister say it's like Game of Thrones. Like, no, it's not like Game of Thrones. Way before its time. This is published in 63. And Frank Herbert, the author, he goes into an example of charismatic leaders, and he used the example of John F. Kennedy. As being that charismatic leader and how it, the effects that it had on society at that time. You know what I'm talking about? So, here we are again. And we are with a new version of Dune. And, just came out last month. Yeah, the last month, right? So, you know how it is. And yeah, man, we own it. We know what you're talking about. All right, you. Well, I don't expect you to be all countrified like me, G. But you know, I expect you to be like, yeah, something. I know what you're talking about, B. But yeah, peace. Yeah, peace, brother Antonio. Game of Thrones is a cartoon, and thank you, G. You know what I'm talking about. But back to the top of your hand, right? So the original series, core series, 6 books, and this is about the first book. Actually, it's about the part 1 of the book. If you ever read the book, it doesn't have chapters. But you sort of know when a chapter is beginning because there's always a sort of quotation or narration, right? But in the movie, it's okay. The movie is phenomenal. But if you read the books, you have your gripes. you know, you have it's the little differences. And the agendas, but it's the little differences from the book. You know what I'm talking about? But at the start, we have Chani. She's narrating what's going on with Arrakis, right? But she narrates it like a Disney princess Pocahontas would. I'll put it to you like that. She talks about how the Harkonnens came and whatnot, and they, and how their warriors couldn't beat the Harkonnen. Now, should I say it now or should I wait? Should I say it now? Should I wait? Should I say it now? Should I wait? I'll I'll wait. I'll wait to go into that little tidbit. But you know, um, she's like the warriors. You know, they're not able to combat the Harkonnen. Mind you, you she makes the Fremen warriors look like they're weak, and they're not. Okay, these are desert warriors, and they go get it. Here I am looking at it from a tactical advantage of that first fight, and I'm like, what? You know, that's not how Fremen would attack a spice. Um, well, a spice harvester. They'll wait till the carryall is gone. Why would you wait? Why would you literally have the carryall there? You know, you wait till the carryall is gone, and then you raid. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, doing doing well from the creative work. I can tell from the assignment. I'm surrounding the creative work. Mm-hmm. Wait, just squeeze. So much. The inner dialogue to fill in the blanks, and it's only part one. Exactly. I mean, it's very expensive, but it could have been 3 hours. This movie could have been 3 hours and still good. The movie could have still been, 3 hours and still good. It literally could have been 3 hours. It's like, man, y'all could have kept going. But my name is Precious. Peace, Sister Manira. Peace, Sister Deirdre. You know what I'm talking about? But you know, you have that scene, and then she talks about basically the Harkonnens' economic hold on spice production. And okay, I'll tell you this. It's not explained in the movies, but as she was talking about, this was about economics with the Harkonnens. And you got to understand something about the Harkonnens. You know what I'm talking about? Their family is like the term robber barons, that was used in turn of the century of these, rich industrial owners, factory owners that, had work, hard living conditions and working conditions on their workers, right? Industrial revolution. That's pretty much the Harkonnens, right? They'll cut, cost or I guess you could say minimum work work costs for as much profit as they can. That's why they have so many. That's why they really use slave laborers, to cut the costs. Uh, to get the maximum profit that they could. So for them, being on Arrakis, one, what you don't know is that when they had Arrakis, in the early stages, um, the person that ran Arrakis, who was an Harkonnen, Aluard Harkonnen, he ran, the spice business into the ground. That's basically the younger brother of Vladimir Harkonnen, right? And he was given basically the fiefdom or the mining operation of Arrakis, and he didn't know what to do with it. He was too gentle, and he wasn't making production and profit on Arrakis. But then here comes Vladimir Harkonnen, and well, he takes over, and his brother is basically relocated or transferred to the basically to govern the basically the Harkonnen homeworld, ancestral homeworld, Larkio or whatever. The Harkonnens are goons and pure cocaine or steroids with a side of incest genetics. They are insane. Well, King was saying with incest genetics and and the sexualized. Yeah, yeah, they are. But but they're also great industrial. Well, you could say great industrialized economic businessmen. If you cutthroat, they the type. They gonna get their money. They gonna get their profit, and that's what made them so profitable because of the simple fact that you know they were willing to cut cost where they could to get the maximum amount of profit. That's also made them more devious and sinister. Like I said, they had slaves, and whatnot, and slave pits and whatnot. You know, um, yeah, the Harkonnens had the business. Their own home planet is a giant factory. It's all fashion metal. Yep. They about nothing but exactly. They're not about nothing but industry and look progress. They're about nothing but industry and progress, right? And so Aluard is transferred, but he is killed by his son, which is Raban Glosso, which he becomes known as the Beast Raban, which you see in the movie. But he killed his father. Just so you know, you know, and he had two sons. Aluard had two sons, Raban, which we see, and the one you don't see, Flayed Rotha, the pretty boy. At least that's how Sting played him, but the pretty boy. And mind you, his name is Raban, but if you don't know, that's the surname for his matrilineal line. It's Raban. The last name is Raban. So yeah. It wasn't shown in the movie, but the Harkonnens all have red hair and wear red and black. Yes, they do. They wear red and black. That's their colors. Their sigil is the griffin. You know what I'm talking about? Their sigil is the griffin or the crest. Their family crest is the griffin. You know what I'm talking about? They wear red and black. You know how they do. You know what I'm saying? Whereas, okay, their Atreides colors are, red, black, and green, as you see. Red, black, and green. But you mostly see green and black. Green and black. But yeah, just tidbit. The Baron was a pretty boy too before the witch got to him. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. So, we get that, and then we moved to Caladan. It's the year 10191. And we're on Caladan, and we see the Atreides having a ceremony of basically um, them getting the fiefdom, or the emperor granting the fiefdom of Arrakis. Mind you, you don't see the emperor, but he's everywhere. The Padishah emperor is everywhere. Shaddam the Fourth, right? And he sends his herald, big proud, rich man, what I'm saying. So, they do that, they sign it. You see that it's with dignitaries. They say that the guild is there, and the Bene Gesserit is there. And mind you, they just say a sister of Bene Gesserit. What you have to realize is that woman is a powerful woman because she's the emperor's truthsayer. She has a title. It's just not being a sister, like she's a reverend mother. You know what I'm saying? Think of Catholicism or a Catholic ranking system, and you'll get it. Right. Brother Antonio, is there some explanation as to why he needs to fly around? You know what, Sister Deirdre? Because he's fat. He's fat. He can't walk. Um, that's how it's always been to me. Is because he needs those levitation plugs, in his body because he can't walk. He's too fat to walk. He's obese. He's morbidly obese, and he's so fat he can't walk. You sort of never get that, but he's so fat he can't walk. That's why he flies around. You know what I'm saying? Um, oh, he flies around because he was raped by a generation years ago. She released a poison from her system and toward that debilitated his muscles and destroyed his skin. He was once very attractive and vain. Thank you, Chief. See, Chief read the prequels. I'm just not buying. Look, I'm a purist. I stick with the six, right? But Chief, he's read the prequels, and I'm beginning to read the prequels. You know what I'm talking about? I'm waiting on my copy of House of Atreides now. I got to rebuy them again. So yeah, so thank you, Chief. That was her revenge in the moment for raping her. The riches are so powerful that they can hold poison in their bodies and release them. Yes, they can. They can nullify poisons, hold them in their body. Look, the Bene Gesserit don't play. They look. That's one reason why I was like, Jessica, she ain't devious enough. She ain't cute enough, because the witches, the witches, they don't play, Like I say, they like what big female mafia. They don't play. But, they uh, signed the treaty of basically ownership to the Atreides. And why that happens, Paul goes to Duncan and tells him of his dream, of him meeting the Fremen and him dying. Foreshadow. And then you see Gurney and Paul spar, right? And I like the combat because for a long time you never really understood the combat system in Dune on cinema, movie wise, it's always something kind of silly, but here it really works, and you get to see, what I'm saying. I'm getting answer. That's some books details. Wonder why too. Yeah. It's good to have their own code. Emperor who? Yeah, well, they have their own code, and it's all about the sisterhood for them, Sister Deirdre. You know what I'm talking about? It's all about the sisterhood over everybody. Just nah, I ain't gonna make that analogy. But yeah, it's the sisterhood over everybody. You know, and so you see them sparring, and they talk, and one thing Gurney says, you never seen Harkonnens and whatnot, and how vicious they could be. Mind you, for those that don't know, Gurney was a Harkonnen slave, at one point in time in his life, before he was freed by the Atreides. Pretty much no one can defeat the witches in combat. You know it. They have their own planet, and they are cultivated. They are cultivated from birth. They have their own standing army. I mean, come on, look. You don't even see the army. It's not like, look, okay. There are no male Bene Gesserits. There are none. That doesn't mean that there are no no men that are with the Bene Gesserit. They do have a standing army. They do. They do have men on their home planet that protect them. You just don't, they never show that. But yes, there are men on that planet. They do have their own army and whatnot. That's why they're so powerful. But mind you, one thing, the Bene Gesserit are a school a thinking school that was created when the humans basically rebelled and freed themselves from thinking machines. And it was outlawed that machines cannot replicate imitate the human brain anymore. No more AI, whatever. So these mental schools were founded, and the Bene Gesserit was one of them. Space and Guild was one of them. Mentats is also one. So yeah, and they lasted beyond eons, mind you. The witches are not just women of combat and got poisons in their body. They're politicians and basically genetic scientists. Yeah, you know, devious, but I mean, hey. The witches and the Spice and Guild control the universe. Yes, they do, because computers, thinking machines, are outlawed. Some people learn to push human abilities to their absolute limit. Yes, it's crazy that a book written in 1965 is talking about the dangers of artificial intelligence. Exactly. It's the dangers of artificial intelligence because people had these machines. They enslaved other people with machines, with these machines, and so what's called the Valerian Jihad happened, and you know the rebellions, you know, and whatnot. So, like I said, Avengers could do a lot. So, you see that, and then you see, the Reverend Mother Gaius Helen Moyam. She comes to see Paul, and she tests him. With the with the box, and she holds at his neck the Gom Jabbar. Gom Jabbar meaning high enemy, right? Or high-handed enemy. She holds at his neck, and he has hands in the box. And he feels pain, and heat upon heat upon heat. He feels that pain. And basically it's a test to see whether or not he's human, because the natural, I guess, the natural response probably would be to take his hand out the box. But he can't take his hand out the box, because if he did, he'd be dead. That's why she holds the Gonja by his neck. But at least in the book, she further explains that uh, she used that an animal would stay in the trap and basically lure the hunter out and kill the hunter. And that's what we're looking for in a human, in a sense. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah. you know Now you see that scene, and Jessica's so mousy. She's hunching over. I know Ben and Jessica hunch over. Do you know how powerful the chicks are? And she's reciting the litany against fear. I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. I will face my fear. I will let it pass through. Will let it pass through. When the fear is God, it will be nothing. Only I will remain. That's the short version of the litany against fear. It's a little bit longer. The Reverend Mother was cold. She was like, F the father, but you and the boy can get a pass. So even Jessica knew what was going to happen, but had to remain loyal. She had to remain loyal because, she the one that messed up. It's like, look here, chick. This plan was already in motion before you were really born, and here you is with your dang on ego thinking you can create the queens outside Iraq. I'm surprised Gaius Hellman didn't pimp smack him like, well, I ain't gonna say it, but how dare you ask me if I went too far? Do you know what you done? You know what I'm talking about? Yes, the Bene Gesserit was known to show no emotional. They messed that up in 1984 and 2021 version. Bene Gesserit were impossible to read. That's the point. Jessica wanted to be special. She that's one thing. Jessica got an ego. She's arrogant and she's egotistical. You see that. Jessica was a sucker for love and gave him a boy instead of the required daughter. Exactly. She disobeyed orders. I'm surprised she ain't even a pariah. Like the Bene Gesserit won't mess with her. Like, you disobeyed orders. We told you to have only daughters. To maintain the balance of the houses. It's about politics with them and genetic breeding. So they was like, look, an Harkonnen heir could be wed to an Atreides daughter, and you went against our orders. Mind you, Bene Gesserit can choose the gender of their children. So she chose. She chose to have a boy because she was in love. But yeah, it meant so much to him. If you ever seen the 1984 version, she says it meant so much to him. At least she says that. But yeah. And so, yeah, they talk, and at least in previous movies, they Reverend Moyam says, we do what we can for you, but for your son may be worth saving, but for the father, nothing. He gone. And Jessica knows this. You know what I'm saying? But the way she said it, it's like a case study or a lab study. We want to observe what this child can do. Therefore, we're saving him. Maybe he is the Queen of Saturday. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's prone to do great things, and we don't know. We're going to observe a little bit more. But for the father, yeah, homie can't be saved. He done, son. He done. So yeah, and you see that, and then you see basically the Atreides. They leave and they arrive on Arrakis, which was a missed opportunity because you don't get to see the Guild navigators. I mean, come on, son, and see them, fold space without moving. You know what I'm saying? One thing I love about this movie is that everything seems so possible. Arrakis seems like a living world, and everything functions like it's really there. You know what I'm talking about? So to me, it's like, oh, y'all could have did a Guild Navigator, no problem. You know what I'm saying? But you don't get to see a Guild Navigator. The Spacing Guild. One thing about them is they emphasize pure mathematics. You know what I'm talking about? And that's just how they are. But they consume large quantities of spice, and because they do, their bodies mutate. They're can't really, really say what they are. Sometimes they look like fish, something like that. But their bodies are mutated, from their overly consumption of spice. You know what I'm saying? At least for the Guild Navigator point of view. At least for the Guild Navigator. They consume tremendous, a bunch of quantities of spice, right? And but miss opportunity. But we get to Arrakis anyway. But it's cool, like I say, it feels like a living world in a sense. You got bags pipe playing, I don't know why they playing. Okay, here's something that I liked as well. You see the bullhead, and you see the picture of the old Duke, Paulus Atreides, right? The bullhead, actually, he was a bullfighter, and that's the bullhead, or that's the bull that killed him. And it was said that still have his blood on the head, right? They did that, but Paulus Atreides basically instilled the teachings in Leto of basically being a man for the people, because he was a man for the people on Caladan. You know what I'm talking about? And he was good to his people, but he died from, he was a bullfighter, so a matador, so he died from doing what he loved. He died from getting stabbed by a bull. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, it was a black bull. There's a meaning behind, at least the running of the bulls. You know what I'm talking about? Them being signifying being Moors and things of that nature. But yeah, Chief is given the long version of the litany against fear, right? I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. And when the fear has gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see its path. Where the fear has gone, there will be nothing. On the eye will remain. Bam! I love living against fear. No, but yeah, but I like that they show, his painting and the bullhead, because in the books, at least as far as I read in House of Trades, because it should be in House of Trades, when they're moving, Jessica is overseeing the move, and she hates that dang on bullhead. You know what I'm saying? She hates it, but she has to bring it anyway. She don't want to bring it, but she has to bring it. But I like how they do that, and I also like on Caladan how they have, I guess Grecian or Greco burial cemetery. It was cool, but yeah. Um, that was no regular bull. That was a Seleucid bull. They have two brains and one horn and are huge. I have used that as my own mantra. See, Chief, But yeah, see, he's red father to me. But yeah, but yeah, that's the bull. It's a Seleucid bull, right? And so, they're on Arrakis, and you see Thufir. He's a mentat, and he mentats are human thinking computers. They're able to basically calculate a bunch of data and spew out the answer. Human calculators. Let's just put it like that. Human calculators. So yeah, and you also see Jessica meeting the Shadow Mates. You know what I'm saying? And missed opportunity, if you ask me, because Shadow is a noble amongst the Fremen. But one thing you see in that scene is Jessica signing, and for those that don't know, that is Atreides battle sign. That is Atreides battle sign. They created it themselves. And that's what they use without talking. They use Atreides battle sign. So that's what she's doing. Mind you, I don't know why she was signaling to the female guard when she's a Bene Gesserit. She can handle a lightweight. But it is, see, it is what it is. And she meets the Shadow Mates, and she offers a Chris knife to her, but questions her and says, "What do you know what this is?" And she tells her and whatnot. But also, what you don't get in the scene is that Mates tells her, oh, y'all got a traitor. She tells them more than once that they got a traitor. It's amazing. Y'all got a traitor that's close. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, all types of languages and secret communication spoken in this film. Exactly. Definitely a message that I took away from this film. Yeah, you can look. The Litany Against Fear it's a wonderful piece of work. Of course, got it tatted on me. Can't forget it. Got it written on me. So I know. And so, then you see an attempt on Paul's life, right? What's known as a hunter seeker, right? But it's cool because it looks like I say it looks like phytoplankton. How what phytoplankton is, but it looks like something like that, and it only moves towards movement, and Paul stays still, but the Shadow Mates, opens the door, and it goes for her, and Paul catches it with his hand and destroys it. Thufir, was a mentat and a master assassin. He didn't get much shine in the film, but he was a very dangerous character. That, Chief, they do him dirty. I mean, come on, bro. Like they do Doofer dirty. Like Doofer's old, and he's been the mentat master of assassins for the Atreides for more than one generation, and they do him dirty. Like I don't like, me personally, I don't like, when Thufir, turns in his resignation or whatever, because of Paul's assassination attempt, and then you have Duke Leto telling him, "Go catch some spies." Like you I want to say, go catch some spies. But I've I've always seen that, even though, this happens, Leto's like, I'm not accepting that, Thufir. Paul wouldn't have survived if it wasn't for your training. But here you got, go catch some spies. Because Thufir's, melon and rich, even though he's light bright. But it is what it is. But yeah, he don't get no shine. Agenda. But it is what it is. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, the scene where she is speaking different languages and assigning to the guard at the same time. Yeah, she's speaking Chakotsa, which is the language of the Fremen, right? And so, Leto and them, they meet Duncan again. What was the significance of the black marking on the lips? Was it a sign of a right hand or second in command? Okay. The tattoo on the lips, if you ask me, that should be the sign of no mentat by the red stain marks on his lips. That should be what it means. You know what I'm saying? Because mentats take the juice to Safu, you know what I'm saying? It's by will alone that I set my mind on, to help them compute, various amounts of data, to get their minds, maximized or in a maximized state to where they compute so much data, like a computer, or a calculator, you know what I'm saying? Speaking at the same time is what made me fall in love with those witches. Thank you. I mean, I've always looked, well, me, I prefer, I don't want Jessica. Jessica's a little thotty, but Jessica's a little thotty, but Teresa or Dari? Oh yes, yes. Teresa Darentar, as they call it. Darentar? For sure, I'm down. It is what it is. The black markings came from getting spice. It's not a tattoo or anything. They ingest spice to increase cognitive ability. Okay, that's what they do. See, he probably read. I bet you read Mentats doing. I ain't read it yet, but he. Thank you, G. Give thanks. Cause I thought it was about the red stained lips, but hey, it is what it is. Told you, I'm a purist. Core books. I gotta read the prequels. So yeah. So that's why Sister Deirdre. And so, they meet Duncan again, and I say when they meet him again, they also meet still are. And still are ain't taking no mess. He spits, per his culture, and they take offense. And Duncan has to explain, accept your water, still are in spirit, which was given. We used to Paul singing those lines, but it is what it is. And so, Duncan acts like Disney John Smith in this moment where he's like, I've been with them for like 4 months, and telling them the culture, they're pure and whatnot. It's something about them, and it talks like a like colonial that had his boots on the ground and whatnot, longer than those there, and Gurney even says he's done turned native. You see what I'm saying? So yeah. In the other books, they go way deeper in the world of witches and even take you to their home planet. Parentage is hidden. Yes, it is. Especially it's suspected Reverend Mother might be Jessica's mother. Oh, I can see it. I can believe that. The way she was always, you know, around. I can see that. I can believe that. When you say that, Chief, it's like, in the back of my mind, I always had a hint, like, they gotta be mama and daughter. I don't know, they just seem a little bit like close, but master and disciple, but close, but yeah. um Yeah. Well, they don't. Well, also the Bene Gesserit don't disclose parentage because of the devious practices they do with the breeding program. You may be, sexing, a family member, and I know it. But it's all for the breeding program. Yeah, Bene Gesserit for the sisterhood. They do that. But yeah. But yeah, like you said, it goes in deeper. See, I gotta read more on witches. Now, if they ever made a bit a book about them, well, I want to say what they called, because they ain't called witches. They called the other W. But if they ever made a bit, book about them, that's what I want to know. Them fish, well, okay, them fish speakers and the mutated fish speakers and Bene Gesserit. But yeah, I see that was playing the deep disapproval while still offering mercy. Um, for giving birth to a boy. Yeah. See, it's in the manual. Yes, this is Deirdre. It's always in the manual. See, well, we knew there was going to be agendas, so it is what it is. But it tells them about that and whatnot. And so they meet Dr. Kynes. Oh, yeah, that was going to happen. So they meet Dr. Kynes, Leto and Paul and them, and, she helps them with their still suits. I don't know why they did this, but they go out into the desert to see, spice harvested. I didn't like Dr. Kynes. And look, in the books, Dr. Kynes as a man. And not only that, Kynes is Liet. And he's you could say he wears a mask, and he's a great deceiver because, like they say, Liet serves two masters. So you don't get that feel with this Dr. Kynes, that he has a secret, that he serves the emperor, but at the same time he's the guide to the leader, he's the coordinator of the nation, what I'm talking about. Because he never calls himself the leader, so we can say he's the coordinator or the guide to the leader, which would be the Mahdi. But and he's and he can be devious because at least in one point when he meets them, he says, at least in the books, he said, "Man, wait till I tell Stelgar to kill Duncan and send it back to this dude." If they not who I think they is, he ain't playing with the Harkonnens nor the Atreides, but it is what it is. But they go to see spice harvested, and you see spice harvested and whatnot, and they look for worm sign. The sister who played Dr. Kynes did great and had wonderful presence, but was definitely not one for the particular role in the movie. Would have rather seen her as a Bene Gesserit. I want to say, well, bruh, do you know? Yeah, she tall too. She'll make a good Reverend Mother. Mm-hmm. She could be, look, she could be Reverend Mother Romalo. I mean, I'm just saying, yeah. She could have been Reverend Mother Romalo, son. I mean, like, oh, come on, son. But yeah, she could have been a Reverend Mother for sure. That tall Amazon. Yeah. Anyway, so they see Wormside, and basically they call the carryall, because the worm comes, and the harvester always, stops a little bit before the worm actually comes to harvest as much spice as they can. So carryall comes, and it attaches, to the harvester, but one of the attachments cannot attach, therefore it cannot lift it up. Because basically it looks like the carryall looks like a balloon in a sense. You know what I'm talking about? And so it cannot lift it up. And so Leto tells them, send all the workers out, and we'll put them in the ornithopters, and we'll jettison as we take off, whatever, you know. Because which also, I mean, um, because he does this, it makes Leah think of him different, you know, as how he risks the lives of his men and his son to help the members of the crew on the spice harvester, and that makes Leah likes Duke Leto, right? So yeah, but you see, as that happens, Paul is sort of in a trance state, what I'm saying, because of the cinnamon, he smells, because spice is everywhere on Arrakis, you it's in the air you breathe and everything, food you eat, everything. So, it's in everything. And as they say, by the time a Fremen child turns 12, his eyes is gone completely